All right, Compass. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Good morning out west. Good afternoon, everybody on the East Coast. Great to be here with everybody again, and really excited. We've got session 4 here. We're a little past the midway point. Thanks everyone who's been joining all along the way. Looks like we have about 50 people in the stream today, which is exciting, and a lot to cover. And it's hopefully last session was helpful answering some questions, and now we're going to continue to dive back into the content related to the client engagement portion. So, all right, welcome back. So I wanted to start with something fun, and also I think tells a little bit of a story as well. Through the course, I've enjoyed kind of going back into some of the Compass archives work that I've done in the past, thinking back on Compass as an experience and how it relates to agent marketing and the work that we're all doing together. And I came upon this ad. This was actually the first ad that I designed and helped produce after just joining Compass. There really wasn't a marketing team or anything at the time. We just had one designer who I worked with, a guy named Vince Stone, and you can see the name of the company is still Urban Compass. And so this was kind of the in-between time where I was there in the midst of going through the rebrand and eventually changing the name of the company and launching the Compass brand. But ahead of that, I still had work to do. I still had to do marketing. I still had to identify what it is that our customers cared about. And if you look at this ad, I want you to point something out, basically, the way that I thought about it at the time. And it really is emblematic and tells a story of how we're thinking about this workshop and what we're doing together. If you look at this, one, who's the customer, right? It's an ad that appeared in the Real Deal. So we know that the focus of the publication itself, the people reading the publication, are top agents. We're a business at the time who looked at our customer as top agents, wanting to attract the best agents to come to Compass. And so we looked at like ourselves. We did our own evaluation, right? Of like our own brand strategy worksheet. And what was it at the time that we could offer this customer? What was it that was meaningful to that customer and that we had actually had as a part of us? At the time, we didn't have much, to be honest. But what we did have was a bit of a software package that allowed basically agents to log in and see their listings and have a little bit of a back-end suite. And we had the only dedicated agent mobile app in the industry, as you see in the copy next to that app screen. And so we were really the only brokerage building tech for agents. That was our six-pack at the time. And the marketing that we did was, again, showing, I'm talking to so many of you about this in your docs. What can we say to actually show the value that we can provide? And so here we show the real tech, the actual screenshots of the agent app and at the time the platform, and explain how it works and how it benefits the customer, the agents. And of course, we use nice photography that connects to the home instead of tech product illustrations, right? And so again, this is very emblematic of how we are all thinking about our own businesses, right? Who is your customer? What is the thing that you're going to be able to offer them? How can you show it, right, in a clear way and explain the value proposition? And so I thought, oh, this is a fun one for the Compass team to share that all the way back now, almost a decade ago. This was still the way that we were thinking about marketing. And of course, by doing that, it helps us cut through the craziness, right? It helps us decide what kind of ad to make, where to place that ad, what the message should be, by just following our framework, following our Zen circle. And of course, we've now gone through 3 sessions and we're getting better at really understanding. By putting the customer at the center, we then determine back for that ad, it was the Compass agents. In this case, it's a business executive, right? We referenced through Jason Bryan's kind of work. And you see around our Zen circle, those are the areas that we are developing, right? We've got a video series. We've got a monthly CMA report that we're sending. We're doing text. We're creating pillar events. And it puts the customer at the center. So we're back to our wheel and we're back to where we are today. So we've been through the kind of attraction, creating a personal brand that people are choosing us, deciding why people would choose us, helping to show that through our marketing. And then we start to build a database of clients, people coming into our business. And how do we continue to engage with them? Because we need to be doing this all simultaneously on a monthly basis, because this is how the flywheel spins. And just like that ad right there back, right? It's like, what do we care about? What do the clients care about? And then real estate as a surrounding, that's our brand. And if we look at this, I want to tell a little bit of a story. So the story is about an agent with Bill Hurst. We're talking about client engagement now, right? And Bill's a New York agent, someone I've known for a very long time. He's at Compass very, very early. And I've been kind of, for a while, talking about this. People may have heard this anecdote because I've been using this anecdote for a long time. But I think it's a great grounding for the beginning of our day today. And Bill, this was back during COVID. I had taken one of my workshops, and where I talked about using CRM and using tags and kind of focusing on identifying, again, what his clients care about and what he cares about, which creates his brand. And so he basically went out and he placed he sent an email during the COVID timeframe about the fact that gyms were opening in New York. They were reopening, right, at that time. And so he's a big fitness person. And so he had a fitness tag. And so he went into that tag and he basically sent the email, just a simple text email with this link to this news source to a bunch of clients that had that fitness tag. People he'd worked with in the past that he'd met at the gym or just knew that was an area of specialty. And so the result was, it took him 10 minutes, and not even 3 hours later, more than half the people opened it, and almost 20% of them got back to him. And he was telling me how he'd gotten off the phone with two of them who were planning to list their condo, and he ended up working with these people. And so it's a great example of what we're going to dive into in detail today, right? Engaging with your client. And I want to go back quickly because this quote, which I kind of should have had at the end, was emblematic of the work that Bill does to be a successful agent when it comes to client engagement. I have a client who's a friend of his, and I ran into her recently, and it was her birthday, and I wished her happy birthday. And she said there was 3 people who called me on my birthday last week: my mom, my financial advisor, and Bill. And this was, to me, like, this is the essence of what we're going to dive into today. It's like, because the better we can make this, where we have a system every week where our team or ourselves are thinking, like, who are the important people we need to call, is going to really help propel our business. All right. And so some of you might ask, like, hey, Matt, like, well, there's an old story there. How does it apply to me? Fitness, sure, that's a cool, interesting story, but where do I find that? Well, if you just go to fitness, type in fitness on the New York Times right now, a whole bunch of great articles that Bill could share today to that same group of people, right? This isn't something that's only applicable to that moment. All right, so we have last week released the marketing plan worksheet, right? Which is basically just a summary in the first page of what the work we've done, right? The work at the bottom of that, just to be clear, you should just pour it over. So everyone needs to try to get to that focus box at the bottom of the brand strategy and identify what's the client profile we're focusing on, the area of specialty, and what's our value proposition. And then move those over to your new doc. Right. And then also move over your goals, right? Because these are the things, this worksheet should be something that you are looking at and opening up every marketing meeting you have. On your monthly marketing meeting, again, challenging your team. You're the leader. If you have a team member or an assistant strategy person that you're guiding, this is their strategy. This is what you're setting for them. This is our goal. This is the farm we're farming. This is one. This is, if we feel like we've got 25% market share in one, this is the extra we're adding. And this is our goal for growing our top growth, our top clients. And then what are our goals for agent referrals? And as you see at the bottom, we have this last month outreach summary. this is the summary of your client engagement, right? So again, right here, just who did we go out to? Who did we reach out to last month? And what is the report around that? And are we looking at that each month and saying the ideal clients that we established in our brand strategy document, are we reaching out to them? Are we doing the work? And just kind of giving ourselves the making sure that we're leaning on ourselves, right? Giving us the accountability to do that. And then, of course, this is the simple weekly, hey, I sent an email to this person. We did these things. And then our content categories are series and pillars. This is it. This is really, really all we should be focusing on for marketing. And so I want to look today at our focus, right? And just like I said, many of you have gotten to this point in the worksheet, but many of you have filled out a bunch of the worksheet and are still trying to figure out, of all the things I wrote and said, what is my focus? And so let me give you some examples, right, of someone who's done a great job of this, that is good for you to see and that you can then leverage for yourself potentially as an example. So again, Christina, we've talked about her before. I think she did a great job, filled out the worksheet, and has here in it her focus, which is her clients are people who are in this age range, make about this much money, and generally are probably just having children and wanting to move to a larger house, right? Big population, people she connects with, has seen in her past sales. There's a lot of people like that, has a lot of testimonials in that area, a great area to focus on. But also she's got these people who are moving out of Austin, downsizing, right, for referrals and stuff, which is great. So she's going to focus some energies there, and she's seen some growth in that area. She's got her neighborhood zip codes. We're working together to say actually what is the actual one singular zip code, right, to focus on. Many of you have got like a few. I'm pushing everyone to get down to that one singular place you're farming. And then she's got a list of some of her pillar tactics, right? And so I had a question, I think from Tara out there, if she's on the call today, who was curious about just explaining what I mean by pillar tactics more. I will go into that in more detail today. In this case, here's her example of, she wants to do something about lifestyle in Central Austin, right? Something that connects to all the culture of bars and restaurants and walkability, connecting that to financing, budgeting, investing. And I said, hey, maybe your pillar activity is a weekend real estate investment summit that you host once a year that takes place in Central Austin and allows you to invite clients, contacts, agents, etc. And so this would be like a singular thing that she would do, that she would spend, months promoting and then months in follow-up and kind of try to bring everyone together. That way it's just a single idea, which speaks to her clients, the neighborhood she wants to, work in, and then allows her to talk about something that's they care about and is interesting to them, but it's not necessarily only real estate related. And then she's got some great content ideas here. So this is like her focus. And I think she did a really good job of kind of breaking down a bunch of different possible content ideas that relate back to, again, the things that her clients care about and the things that she's great at, things like mini facelifts and before and after properties that she's really great at in the area. And then there's the one other section Christina did for her, which is the other one we're going to focus on today, right? Which is, again, the ideal clients and your client influencers. And some of you asked, why have I included this chart? This is the reason. Today's session is the reason this is here. Because this list of people that, in Christina's case, that she believes are her influential clients, and it's a good list, right? It's not just one person or one name. It's okay if it is. That's fine to start. But you want to start building this kind of list of influential clients. And that these are the people that you're going to focus your energies on in your outreach, in your monthly client engagement activities. All right. And these are your sphere of influence and really people that we want to focus on. As you can see, Christina has an amazing business, really buttoned up, but still isn't really getting the agent referral part. And it's not really getting a lot of referrals. And so huge opportunity for her and her business through this course to see that recognize that, and then, like she said, dig into this and really start to think about where her feeder markets are and stuff. So again, this is the baseline, right? That chart in your brand strategy, your ideal clients and your client influencers now lead us into nurturing your clients and your database today. All right, so we just talked about this. This is your summary in your marketing sheet. Again, areas of ideal clients, areas of expertise, etc. So, but we need the CRM, right? We've got to have our CRM to help us do this work, and it starts to show why this is so vital. And you're all top agents, professional agents who've heard this time and again. You're all using, I'm sure, of some kind your CRM, and so I'm just going to use and show this throughout about why it matters and how we can activate it when it comes to nurturing our clients. Okay. I want to, again, I'll use a lot of existing examples, right, with our agents that are going through the course, because I think that's the easiest way to teach, because it's very kind of practical for all of you. So this is Stacy Froelich. Hi, Stacy, if you're on the call. Did a fantastic job of filling out this worksheet, and has a wide range of customers that she works with, but really it's mostly families. And she has a few different areas, but really the Upper East Side is the focus area for her. And when she started to fill out who her ideal clients were in the new marketing worksheet, she put areas that she was currently using like CRM tags for to market to people. And she sits here, as she says, because I send the newsletter out and e-blasts, she doesn't do a lot of e-marketing, but she mostly uses the tags for both emails, like wishing people holidays and stuff like that. So it's great. And she asked, I'm not sure how would I use additional tags? And so this gets back to the core of what we're going to talk through, like, because tags are how you engage in a personalized way with your clients. And it's going to allow you to, just like Bill's example, reach more people more easily, more effectively. And so let's, and Stacy's, the rest of her breakdown here, her outreach summary, she has her areas of expertise. Empty nesters is something that popped up there. And, there's things at the bottom that she's actually doing for those clients today. For her client influencers, she is sending gifts throughout the year, active on social accounts, etc. She's listed them out, which I think is a fantastic way to do it. What are you doing today to be in touch with your client influencers? There's a million things you could do, but let's write them down. Let's document them. Let's understand what we're doing. And I said on the right to her here, hey, these are good tags to reach your clients, but she just mentioned in her previous doc that young families, right, were really a niche that was important to her. But if she's no tag of young families in her database, how is she reaching out to that group of people easily? How is she getting them to, come to attend certain things, or sending them specific materials that they might care about or otherwise? And then there wasn't really anything about luxury. There's no luxury client tag that I'm aware of. So that I told her that might be helpful if you've got very premium, off-market, insider specials, etc. And so again, just a way to think about using the tool here, our worksheet, to uncover great insights that'll help us improve our marketing. Brian and Jason, who we've been using a lot as examples, also thankfully, filled out some of the marketing worksheet ahead of this time. And as you see for them, they have a whole bunch of great stuff that they've detailed, right? They've got their ideal client structure, their area of expertise with their farm. They're building up some great developer contacts, and they're looking now to create client influencers through calls and lunches and cigar sessions and dinners and happy hours. And so that's really powerful thing. And so here's the list of all of the things that Stacy and Brian included in their ways to activate and engage with clients. And these are all great examples. They're all things that, dependent on who your client is and what they care about, right, is a wonderful way to activate. But again, there is a lot here, and these are things that you all understand. Like, I don't need to teach you how to take someone to coffee or make a phone call, or take someone out to dinner or a happy hour. But what I'm going to show you the rest of the time is ways that we can kind of try to organize this and try to activate and scale some of the client engagement that we do so that you do have more time for some of the things on the list here, because these are all very good ideas and very important to do to engage with your clients. And one of those is this simple breakdown, right? Again, meant to be a worksheet that your team or you fill out. It's not meant to be exhaustive. It's not meant to include every single thing, right? What it is meant to do is to challenge you to think about what you are doing when it comes to the marketing. So let's just take this week. For example, this week, are you reaching out? Are you doing anything on the brand building side? Or have you done any social campaign? Are you working on any content series? Like, is there anything that's happening with that? On the farming side, is the farming started? Have you thought through like which market you're going to work with? When it comes to your clients, what outreach have you done, right, to those top customers that we're going to detail today? And is there any outreach that you've done or thought you put in or plan around your influential agents in other markets? Have you just reached out to them? Have you touched them this week? And you're not going to touch people every week, right? You're going to have things that you focus on, but you want to strive for a balance. This is where the flywheel starts to really work, is that you have consistently every week some activities that touch the 4 areas of the Zen circle. And so that's kind of the idea behind this breakdown. Now, you're all going to have your own trackers, which you'll use. This is just meant as an example. You can use this one, or you can use your own spreadsheets, etc. All right, tags. So just like Stacy asked, like, I'm not sure what tags to use. I'm not sure what else I should be using, because I'm using holidays and birthdays and things like that already. And so again, this is getting back to looking at agents that have done work inside the worksheets. This is a particular agent out west that saw that a lot of her families that were coming to her as clients were empty nesters. So I thought, like, empty nest is certainly a great tag, right? Because just like the idea of the fitness example with Bill, they probably have a lot of content and things that you could send them that are applicable to being that type of person at that time of their life. Peggy, in a conversation I had with her and her doc, talked a lot about the amazing career she had as an educator and teacher, and how she built up all kinds of experiences with students and had a wide network of incredible students, and that she wasn't really doing that much to reach out to them. And I said, it's a great place to tag them systematically in the database so that she can communicate to them more easily. She can organize and bring them together, and it makes it easier for ongoing client engagement. And Susan did a wonderful job of detailing how a lot of her clients care about data, and that she herself can be incredibly detailed, the client, depending on how they receive information. And so she wants to know who are the people who care about data, who are the data junkies in her database, so that she can send them even more in depth and higher quality marketing communication to engage with them. So those are some examples, right? But okay, that's great, Matt, but who do I focus on, right? Again, this is why we're doing the worksheets, because it's in there. It's in that section. It's in our ideal clients and client influencers. And this is your chance to really think about your business, put those names down. You can start with categories like Alexis did, right? And so this could be like, my ideal clients are retiring couples with adult children, or, I've got these places that I'm finding client influencers, right, from past clients or from open house. But I challenged Alexis to really think more about the specific names here that represent these categories. And then again, if you want to tag them with that, and that's a great way to organize them. Another great agent, Georgina, same thing, great breakdown. Many of you had just like a few names or one names per box. That's a great place to start, right? Right away in your weekly chart, how are you communicating with these people? What are you doing to get in touch with them? When's the last time you spoke to them? Can you go beyond? And getting back to Christina, this was her chart for her ideal clients and client influencers. And again, you see a pretty wide set of people. And that's why I think this is a good example of about the volume, right? That you would think like, okay, with a good solid business, I've got at least this many people that I think fit into my client influencer bucket. And then I've got some good categories for the type of people that I'm going after as a part of my marketing plan. Now, of course, if you don't have people, that's okay too, right? That's why a great place to look is likely to sell. And so, again, a great thing to just start the day, Matt. I'm like, I don't really understand the client influencer thing. Great. Well, let's start with just your likely to sell list, and let's work that. Let's work that every week in your chart and every day. Possibly that you're when you're thinking about client engagement. And so this is me just going into my own and selecting all those people that are in my likely to sell list, but I'm not going to get to them all this week. So I'm just going to tag them with likely to sell. And that way I can come back to them at some point to make sure I don't miss them in case I don't have time that week to get to them. And then I'm going to put them into a repeating weekly follow-up action plan, just to make sure that I'm getting notified to make sure that I follow up with each of these people and make sure that I'm engaging with these potential clients. Now, obviously, you'll have to see some of those names in your database. You're going to know others you maybe haven't spoken to for a while, but they're still clients, right? If they're in your database, they are your clients. And I think it's one of the most exciting things, one of the most exciting products in the history of Compass likely to sell is pretty incredible. I'm always amazed. I went in there today to screenshot this and add this last minute, and a friend who showed up in the list just sold his apartment about 3 months ago, and it's pretty incredible to see the power of that happening over time in there. Okay, I'm going to open up the chat and look at that, and I'm going to take a little bit of a breath. Everyone, please up out of the chairs. You deserve this one. Breathe in through the nose. Raise the hands above the head. Breathe out through the nose. One more breath. That would have been very sore this week. And I love this quote. And hopefully we're teaching. All right. For some in the chat, I'm seeing I have a lot of comments and questions in my sheet, but I've not heard back. So for Kimberly, I will make sure to go in there today. For anyone else who's made progress in the sheet who hasn't heard from me, sorry if I've missed you. I'm obviously a lot of sheets trying to get in and out of. Make sure to send me a direct email to Mr. Matt Spangler at Gmail, or you tag me in there again and say, hello, Matt, just checking in on this again. And I will, I'll make sure to get to it. All right. So what do I send the people that I now have in these lists, right? What do I send them? Now that we've thought about doing something with them. And I like to break down this just to simplify it, right? Because I think these 4 categories are ones that I've leaned on throughout my career. It's true of businesses I work with, and it's true of, of Compass agents. I think these categories are great ones for you to think through. If you're like, Matt, just give me some guidance on what I should be doing. I think these will help. So I'm going to give examples of each. So education. So again, this is just from market insights. This is actually just views on listings. These are like my listings. And it's great education insights, right? It's like, here's what the trends are about certain listings. You might think that you are the only one who needs to see this information, but also your clients care about it. So sharing it with them. Also, it's very interesting to people to see, say, a particular listing got a ton of interest, a ton of traffic on Compass for whatever reason, something special about that one. And you've got a client that has a similar listing, right? Or a comparative, or someone who just loves learning about the market. You send this and, hey, really interesting for you to check out. Recently seen this one particular listing has been exploding for this reasons X, Y, Z. Thought you'd enjoy, kind of thing. So again, just educating people. Same thing. Maybe it's a market report. This is obviously from our Market Insights and Market Report tool, where you can change all the different kind of charts and metrics. And in this case, I would send it out to people, who I thought would care about this particular area, right? And just educating people. I would also use this on social media content, and I would target those specifically to my CRM of people who lived in that I knew lived in the Williamsburg area. And so again, just another idea and option for education. And then there's all kinds of content. If you go in and, for example, how we had before, I think it was Susan, who was someone who really, was great at data and communicating data. And there's a whole bunch of great data-driven insights, whether it's National Real Estate Insight reports and concierge data points in these designs that you can use by just simply searching for data in the tool. And so just it's a way to think about, the education side. We've talked a lot about the education previously, of being one of the most important things you can do, because you're the expert. You need to be seen as the expert in the field, and you want to continue to help educate people around what's happening in the market, et cetera, through your client engagement. All right, so, well, this one I believe should be this is it. Okay, let's say entertainment. So we jump down one. So this is an example of, entertainment. And so I looked at Lisa's great breakdown of her ideal clients and her client influencers, et cetera. And in her ideal clients, a lot of creative professionals, people with architectural taste, and people with design savvy. So I bolded the things that stood out to me as I read through these. And I said, listen, well, there's great agents out there, great examples of someone like the creatives agent who's really focused their brand specifically on that type of customer, because this, to many people, especially in that area, is entertainment, right? This is something that great, beautiful, amazing listings, architecturally driven listings are entertainment in that way. And so it's sending things to people in your database that you've tagged with those design savvy, creative professional, et cetera, is a great way. And then sharing with them the homes, right, that are applicable or might be interesting to them. You can see here this gentleman who is a Compass agent has created a big audience following specifically around homes in this particular audience. Because we all know, we've talked about before, it's entertainment. The better our homes look, the better our business looks to people. This is probably one of the most intrinsic, if I leave you with one idea, lines that connects to all of us, but it's very applicable to the sense of our existing client base when it comes to the entertainment aspect of showing them the best homes. And so it's about sending them stuff specifically, right? It's not about sending them an email newsletter with all your listings, et cetera. It's about reaching out to them saying, I think you would care and you would like this particular house because of, its beauty, how incredible it is, et cetera. Okay. Second or third in this case, endearment. Endearment is just, this is the coffees. This is the, just taking care of people, treating people like family. And as I was talking recently with Nicole, who I've mentioned before in the course that I was helping with some ideas, she had, she's from the entertainment industry. She's also an actress, has a bunch of people in this industry. And she had just sold a property which was featured in magazines. And she thought, well, it'd be a great idea to go to them and say, I'd love to offer amazing architectural photographs for you of your home, but also shoot you all in it and then give you all those photos as kind of family photographs. Um, he could then share that with, and they would kind of co-list, right, or collaborate the photos together on social media. For those who are not aware, like on Instagram today, you can basically add a person who's a collaborator. And that what happens is that both then shares that post on both of your accounts. This is a great way to leverage client engagement and also do something that elevates your brand and their brand together, offering them this great photography opportunity. Anyways, I thought this was a good idea for how to have influential, in her case, entertainment people in her network who they want to get, who our clients want to get in front of as well. And again, a great example of the type of photograph that she was thinking about taking. Of course, client gifts, right? Something that like, what do I do? Well, client gifts is obviously something you all do. How do you make it more efficient? I've heard from many, many agents over the years of like the speed and ease that Gift Center does provide. By simply just going in, seeing something in a tagged area, maybe it's people who love, our culinary or foodies would be a great tag, and then going and actually sending a gift directly by just clicking that button and picking out a great food-oriented gift from Gift Center, and boom, it's shipped and gone. And I just looked in there today, and a bunch of great new gifts always kind of coming in there. And I know many of you kind of like to spend time cultivating, crafting your own unique gifts, but we're all busy too. And so I think it's an amazing thing of like what to do, leverage Gift Center. And my push is send more small gifts, right? Don't build up and send gifts, once or twice a year. Send them more. Send them in your weekly chart of your outreach to your influencers. It's gifts too. And okay, areas of specialty, right? So this is a chart that we have, right, previously. But, this is something that will still apply when it comes to, what to do. And so, this case, we've got this great top referral market was investor Facebook groups, right? And so reaching out to those clients in that area, getting them into our database, and then activating them through something that connects specifically to what they care about. All right, exclusivity, the last one. This is just, I've given this idea. I've got a couple ideas in here. This is one where there's two ideas that I've put together some examples of. One is this idea of an annual real estate review, and it's just you've got how do you create something exclusive? How do you go a little bit further than you usually do? You've got these incredible. Gets back to the idea of your influencers. Who are your client influencers that you really want to do something special for, that are going to be word of mouth vehicles for you, that are going to tell other people in your farm how great you are? And so I went into Marketing Center and I made quickly a, your home's annual report. Again, I'm always doing this around my own building. And but of course, this applies no matter where you are. And I thought, let's say I sold 5 apartments in the building. Each one at the end of the year would get, in this case, I picked the trifold design that I thought I liked the most, the kind of 5.5 by 8.5 size. I, put a picture of the building there. Me and Reed, I signed it with my own name, and then the inside would have the comparative properties from the year, like basically like a little report here on the left about the things that, maybe the improvements that were made into the area, how their property compares against others, and just a general look at the market, specifically through the lens of their place. Could also be a much more fun story with pictures of their family and things like that in here, depending on how much content you had. But I thought this was a great example of something that you could do, which you then are sending to a smaller list of people. You're not doing this necessarily to everyone or a farm, because it needs to feel exclusive. Now, I think there is a really interesting opportunity to potentially scale this, as a thing that you could do to a building that you were, if it was a smaller area that you were trying to farm. And for that, you would basically like still identify the property, but you would just not have too much personal information about the person. You would just say, listen, I've actually looked and done a specific comparative property analysis of your property. And of course, you see in the middle here, I just kind of screenshot this, but I'm showing the tool. I'm showing the CMA tool and how it works. And this is also a great way for, just like that very first image of the Urban Compass ad, I'm actually showing the technology that you're using to allow someone to do this work. And just a quick tip, I know people are asking, like, how do I grab all the screenshots of everything? This is probably something on the computer that I use more than almost any other shortcut. Just Shift, Control, Command, and 4. And it puts a little cross up there, and you can grab any part of the screen, copy it somewhere. So just a fun tip. Okay, so those are some examples of what to do. We've got our list of people, our clients, we're trying to engage them. What do we send them? How do we engage them? And then getting into a little bit deeper dive into the pillars that that Tara asked me about. Again, let's go back to those in the workshop. So this was Doug, I think Doug Hunter, just moved to Hawaii. So all the agents on Hawaii say hello. Doug's, I think, new there. He's from LA originally. And he, pillar tactic, he thought, I don't know, a beach cleanup, a seminar on benefits of living in Hawaii from an outsider's perspective. And I thought, those are great ideas. Those are great ideas. That's exactly the kind of idea. And funny enough, this week, I saw a former client of mine that I still advise as a business that is in the electric mobility space, posted to LinkedIn, a post about, please join them, partnering with the local hotel and the local Jamaica Bay Parks Conservancy to do a beach cleanup. And you could sign up here, and great, simple, good looking image. And so it's just perfect example of, like, these ideas are what businesses, successful tech companies, are also doing to engage with their client base. And so this is a perfect example of a pillar kind of tactic. Takes some while to organize. You might only do it once a year, like once a summer, kind of big thing. And so I thought that was great. Of course, there's also something as simple as, like, hey, you're, in Doug's case, moving to a new area. You might be wanting to just throw an event that says, like, hey, I'm new to this area, welcome people, be able to just meet and greet, provide some entertainment, some good food. In this case, this is Donnell. For those who, the DC area, Donnell, fantastic agent, have also known for a long time. He just broke off on his own to do his own team. And so this was their launch event, kind of, for his new thing, and thanking colleagues, and shout out to the venues. And, again, all the people from caterers to venues, et cetera, are all potential client opening, avenues. And so these are kind of the affiliate and kind of pillar events to think about doing as an example. So hopefully that explains it. I tend to think of pillars as like physical things, in the sense of physical, where it's either an event or some activity of some kind that brings people together. And so hopefully that's clarifying. Okay, quick stretch, quick breath. This is a great quote from a book called 4,000 Weeks, which I recommend everyone to read. It's really kind of a philosophy meets time management book. And so great for those who sometimes feel overwhelmed with everything they have going on. All right, so I want to dive it a little bit into, we talk a little about, like, who to go to and how do we organize those people and start to tag and think about it. We talked a little bit about what do we send people, or how do we activate our existing clients. And I think video messages is another great thing to talk about, because it's a huge opportunity that I see that brings together the best of what sales teams and technology companies out there are doing with what real estate agents should do more of, which is the fact that video makes people happier than text messages, right? This is study-based, and especially over email, right? So I know we launched the video capability inside of the Compass app a while back, and I know there's massive upside still for its use. I'm sure lots of people do this consistently. But I wanted to give an example. Recently, I sent, it wasn't recently, it was a while back, but a video message to my doctor where I, basically explained what was wrong with me. I think I had like hurt my hand. It wasn't feeling well. And so I kind of explained it to her instead of calling her or trying to get an appointment. And you see her response here, like she never, by the way, responds to me on email ever. But she responded immediately. I love the video message, so efficient and effective. And so it gave me the thing I could move right past the consultation and everything else. And so inside your app, it's simply just pulling up the quick actions button, hitting it, and right there at the bottom, record video makes it very easy to do. And that's a little bit what it looks like. You record that, boom, and then you can send it off. And, I thought like this idea of video messages is not just something to do with personal kind of videos of yourself, although that's a really fantastic use case. But it's also a way to just explain and educate, right? And talk about things that you're doing and showing your value. And so again, a great agent in filling out the worksheet said here that really loved using collections and that they're good, but she primarily uses spreadsheet with investors. And it can be a long process. And I thought, wow, what a great opportunity for something like this or a CMA to record voiceovers and share with those investors, right? Because in many cases, these investors are not there. They're coming to Austin. In this case, they're buying from out of town. And then they can see that she has additional tools at her disposal to give them that advantage. And so one of the tools that I would recommend that everyone use and subscribe to, although it is free to use to start, and you should start there, is Loom. And Loom is like one level up from what we provide on the Compass platform, but it makes it incredibly easy to just record your screen and then quickly trim that and edit it and share that link. And so recently someone asked me to share with them the Loom how I made it. And so, once you make videos, they're all stored here, and you can see here, I made one how to record screen videos of Compass tools.
Hey Zen team, it's Matt. I'm here to make a quick video because I've gotten a couple questions about how I recorded the videos of the screens that I shared in the presentations in the last two classes. So real quickly, first off, I'm using today loom.com, Loom.com. I'm going to show you right now. It's the app I'm using to help me record the screen. I just type in Loom. When I type that in, it actually goes to a dashboard for me, which is what you see when you start creating videos. Here's an example of the last video that I made for the market report. It sits in here. You can then download the video there easily and embed those videos into presentations, or you can actually use this to send links. Easily just type in share video. It gives you a link to copy. You can include that in an email link anywhere you want, a text link to someone's mobile phone. Very easy to do. So that
we won't watch the whole video, but I will send this video link afterwards so everyone has it. And again, very excited for you to start embedding and including more of videos into, because again, building on the other the agent that I just mentioned, he also said like he was using collections for this one audience, but her young couples especially loved collections, and that was really the big focus of her client base. And so I thought, wow, that's actually a fantastic thing to build around, or specifically for your clients that believe that is something that you can offer the exclusivity around. And so I've got an idea here, which combines all the things we've talked about so far. Taking our database, young families, we believe that they care about the school districts, right? They're young families. That's what they care about a lot. And so when they search for homes, they're thinking about schools and the adjacency to those. And so I'm going to make a collection called the PS200 School District Properties. And I'm going to go and do a search based on that particular area. and I'm going to identify properties that are in the map around that particular school district. I'm going to create that as a public collection. And then I'm going to say these are the best available houses within the highly desirable school district. I'm going to find it by I'm just typing in the map, PS whatever, and like you start to see the 133 William Butler Academy, all these show up. So I'm great. I circled around within a little area. And then we have this beautiful new action bar that I've been launched since I've been at Compass, where I can just add straight to that public collection. I can then share that. I can change the cover photo that will appear on the website when I share it on any of those places on the right, Twitter, Facebook, etc. So that could be a picture of, the school, me, whatever I want, or you just copy that link below and share it. And then here's my great public collection. Now that I then send that link, and I also go and post it to my Instagram, and I arguably could, that is already my sphere. But because I really want to focus on the young families, I'm going to go ahead and make an ad as well. So again, I'll just scrub back so you see it, right? It starts out with actually showing the PS 200 school district top listings collection. And then I go through and talk about, hey, it's got 20 homes, et cetera. And so again, this was just a template inside of Video Studio, just like I showed in the last session, where I changed all the copy to be specific about this. You can upload any photos. And then I can make an ad with that same design, targeting the same information to my CRM with my tag to my young families tag. So it starts appearing in their social media, and they're of course interested in that, and it's coming from me, shows my expertise, and it's a way to touch and engage with my clients, but isn't just the standard sending an email, right? It's going a little bit further to reach them in a really interesting way. And then, of course, my videos there saved in my Video Studio. If I need to ever want to do a different campaign with it, or I want to send it to someone else later that I reach out to. Here I am just in here changing the scenes. I can create the digital ad. I'm testing it, run an ad with it. Okay. And so, Matt, why would I want to run an ad on IG with that kind of list? And because the reality is Instagram is your sphere, right? Like the majority of the people that are following you know you, care about you in some way. And it's another lightweight version of how to stay in touch with your clients and how to engage with your clients. I think I said last 2 sessions ago, Mike and Scott, who were doing a bunch of stuff with their Rivians, had tons and tons of comments. And I said, if I'm their team, I'm pulling down all the people who indicated they were Rivian owners or lived in the area, putting them in our database, tagging them Rivian, and then reaching out to them, inviting them to future meetups or whatever that Mike and them are doing. So again, this is another place to think about if you're spending time here, doing it in your system, doing it in your client engagement system so that it works in your Zen circle. It's all connected. I love the idea of this 5 and 5. I didn't make up this idea, but I took it from someone, and I love the idea because the most meaningful thing you can do in Instagram is DM 5 people with just like something about some post they put up, right? That you feel like are your good clients that you want to engage with, or maybe they're in your ideal client list, or maybe you'd like to move them, or you'd like to have them as clients, and they follow you and they're lightly connected to you, but you want to stay in touch with them. It's often even more authentic than getting an email or sending a text, right? This DM with some extra information in it. Hey, great post, or a comment on something, and it's not just a comment, it's actually a direct message in there. And so just doing that 5 minutes, sending 5 messages to people, or 5 people, 5 messages, 5 minutes, and do that once a week, and it's a great way to to add the extra client engagement to your sphere inside of Instagram. Hey, I love that post. Was thinking of you. Hope you're doing great. It's just that simple. That's the message. All right, and one area I want to kind of, to some degree, weave in and finish out, as we come towards the back half of the session today, is that one of the also important things and powerful things when it comes to your client influencers, engaging with them, is asking for feedback. And many of you throughout the session have asked, I had this section on client feedback. And so why do we include that in there? Well, one, because I want to be really clear about this, about the power of it. Because there's a great question here asked of me. Is this something I should ask a client to give me? Or should I pull something out of feedback that's already been sent? And what I said before is it's really critical. It would be great to ask them to share again. But the key is to force them to make the comparison of why you versus others before they worked with you. Not now, after they've worked with you. Let's say that again. Why did they choose you before they worked with you? That's what you need to uncover. Remember, that's our whole purpose of the brand and attraction phase. Brand is why someone chooses you. They did make a choice to work with you at some point. And there was a reason they did that. It might have been because you knew someone they knew, whatever it was, but you should try to uncover that and get to know that. Because usually what happens is we go to clients after and it's like, hey, tell me how it went. And they're like, wow, of course it went. They're going to say it went great because you did X, Y, and Z and you were so great through the process. So that ends up being what the testimonial is. But that doesn't tell you why they chose you. So again, it's critical for you all to think about that and add that question, even if it's the only question you ask, to get that feedback. And then engage with your client influencers, engage with the ones you have the best relationship with to bring them into the process. And Brian shared with me, did a great job. Oh, it's not showing up now. It's unfortunate. Let me see if I can. Well, it'll be in the final when I share it. But Brian did I'm just going to real quick. I just refresh this. I see behind the scenes here. Great. So Brian shared that I told him, hey, you should actually share your brand strategy change and update with one of your top clients. And he did. He sent it and he documented the reply and he got some fantastic insight. And that person felt really engaged, right? It was a top client, top customer that they wanted to kind of engage with more. They're bringing them into the process. And this is actually a general practice that Brian and Jason had been doing previously effectively to engage even about their marketing in general before this process. They were asking, remember if I told the anecdote about them going and asking, hey, what do you think of this marketing we're doing? And getting some feedback from someone that they'd already worked with. And so a great way to engage with your clients as a professional, as an equal, and something especially when they are former executives or business owners or anything in that ilk, they really probably enjoy a lot. Okay, we've come towards the end of questions, and so I'm going to go into the chat here and see if there's any questions. But before we do, I kind of want to finish out with this idea of all the stuff we talked about should really lead into that weekly sheet. All right. So again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but hopefully today's session gives you a lot of clarity on what are the kind of basic things that each week I should be at least trying to do a couple of, right? Like, okay, I'm going to reach out to one client influencer this week on text, or I'm going to work towards, identifying what our pillar market tactic is going to be, or we're going to create one, midterm report for our clients we're going to start working on that annual home report for mid-year. And so starting to put some of those ideas related back to your core things that are in the chart, which is your core clients, your core areas, is the goal of that breakdown. All right, looking up here at some of the questions. Kimberly, like I said, I'll follow up with you. Thank you for that question. Andrea asked, how are you tagging those categories? Age. Well, I think, again, when it comes to great tags, the key that I would share with everybody is that great tags are around things you're going to use to communicate with small groups. And so you want to be controlled with tags. You don't just want to throw tons of stuff in there because, again, if there's thousands of tags, it's really kind of useless, right? It's almost like too much because you're trying to decide, it's like walking into a closet with thousands of outfits. Like, what do you wear? You really have to have some that you feel like are connected to groups of people that you're trying to market to and want to engage with. That's why things like young families, that's why I think like sports, fanatics, that's why I think like people who love data, people who are big outdoor people, etc. You can really start to see those tags being incredibly powerful. Age is one that is, I think, can be very powerful to include, especially if you get up to older audiences, right? If you like, I think having things where you tag like group as millennials or something like that can be powerful. And I think for age, I think it's not quite as powerful if you don't feel like you have that already baked in. But the total income levels can, I think, be another one that is quite powerful to include. And I see many of our agents in the workshop have a knowledge about their clients, at least from a range perspective. So very powerful to put them. So I'm not sure if Stacy asked, if I were to add more tags, what additional marketing efforts would I do? So again, hopefully, Stacy, that was an early question today. So hopefully that some of the clarity from the last half hour helped explain that. But I think, just as I said, anything that relates to the outreach around content and connection with them is marketing. So whether it's Bill's example of fitness and sharing a New York Times fitness article, whether it's with your young families, a new store that opens up on the Upper East Side that was a kid's toy store, and you wanted to kind of share something with them just in an email form that was just text-based with a discount link to that store, for gifts for the kids. That's a fantastic way to think about using tags and what additional marketing efforts you would do. And then hopefully that just gets your wheels spinning on all kinds of different opportunities and ideas. Again, getting back to again, just like that Rivian, you want to build a community around certain types of people and their interests, a great way to understand them. Brian tags his client influencers brand champion. Amazing. Yes. Same thing. Even a better name than client influencers. Pima Shodin's book is yes. Amazing. I haven't read that book, but I'm familiar with it, Lindsay. Theodore is asking, where do we see this report? Is this annual review format in Marketing Center? It's actually not, Robin, exactly as this in Marketing Center. I just used a different template and just moved it around. What I'd like to do for everybody is I will record a video of my screen making that report, just like I did with during the last session and doing a screen share. And I could even attempt to do it today at the end if we have some extra time. Lindsay, it's never too late to submit anything. Just we've got over another week and a half of the course, so please continue to submit and work through your worksheets. I know many of you all have been busy. It's spring market. Hopefully everyone's getting busy. And so I understand that that's why we stretch the course out over some time. And so excited to keep working with everyone. Lindsay's saying we can't do that. We can't talk about schools. That's fair. That could be something that is then sent not publicly, right? But maybe you create something specifically, just give it a different name, like it's around school districts, and that's certainly a way that you can still market to the fact that people are looking for specific collections around schools. And so would be interested to know what the legality around that is. But Michelle, yes, public collection, fantastic option to use. It's probably one of the most valuable tools I think that is inside the Compass platform. And please, maybe, if there's additional questions about collections or using it, I love detailed instructions on how to make the video. You bet. Yeah, well, happy to. Which video exactly too, Michelle? Maybe indicate for me in the questions which exact video. What would be a great marketing plan for empty nesters? Certainly something we can follow up with, think a little bit about, right? For them, right, it's this idea of they are, maybe it's connecting with others, right? Theodora, that would be about, the things that maybe they're new to a community, or like trying to meet others who've also had kids, and you're the connector between them. That's a great, potential option. It could be just in the same way that fitness, right? And Bill sent an article about fitness. It's like you go to the New York Times and probably search empty nesters, and maybe there's some really interesting content that comes up, and you just shoot them a note saying you're thinking about them, and here's this article, and here to be here for you, and let's get together. I know it's probably hard, the fact that your son or daughter left the house, etc. So Mary's asking me, I have a team and we are not in the same location. Are you saying we need to combine and farm in one location? No, not necessarily. No, when it comes to farming, I think you want to, if the team collectively does do farming together, and that's the strategy. But if you feel like independently, you work an area, you have an expertise in an area, a specific neighborhood that you live in that the other team does not, and you want to build your business up in that way, that's really a discussion you have with the team. But it's completely something that happens a lot, and there's many agents out there who work on teams but also have their own dedicated marketing strategy and farming strategy in the area that they have an expertise in area. So hope that answers your question. Do I advise doing mailers to your sphere or a specific neighborhood? Absolutely, Bart. One of the things is, I think, how can we come up with creative things that provide value that people receive in the mail, right? Again, avoiding the just sold postcards, really getting into the world of handwritten notes, getting in the world of these kind of interesting, whether it's reports around the properties in the area, things that have QR codes that link to videos that you've done with market insights, etc. Just going a little bit further than the agents are to do something that arrives physically and gets their attention, but actually engages them more than the usual mailers do. Hopefully, there's been some good examples for you in the course so far, and we'll keep trying to include those. Sophie, would you create a Facebook group for specific tags and invite them to bring everyone together? I think that's a great idea. Like, if you've got some people that are on in your groups that you feel like are, disparate, that you think that those all people all have commonalities or things that connect them together that make sense to bring them into one group and then be able to message that group more easily there. So I think it's a great idea to move back and forth between those two things. Obviously, some people like to interact and spend more time on Facebook. And so the people that are in that channel that are going to spend more time, that's a logical thing and a great way to engage them easily. And so I think it's a smart strategy to see how you can merge the two together potentially. See how to share our worksheets with you. Just go up to just go up to the top right, share, and just add me if I'm not already there. I should be in there already, but if I'm not, it's just the email address, mrmattspangler@gmail, that I'm using for this course. Type it into the chat here for everybody so they have it. And then you can also just email me with the link to the doc as well if you're not somehow able to get through to it. How to create our own curated magazine for digital media. Well, I think as you see here in some of the stuff I've been creating inside a marketing center, right, there's so much flexibility in there and the capability to do something where you're generating a little bit of a kind of digital magazine inside of there, creating a flip book, and then as I talked about in session 2, posting that flip book up, and then you can embed that flip book in LinkedIn. You can embed that. You can send that to people as a link. You can shoot it as a text message to your clients. You can include it in your newsletters, etc. Is a great, easy way to create kind of a digital curated magazine. And Miriam, I think public collections is, like I said, just such a great tool to give people the incentive to want to, follow or subscribe or click to something or kind of see something that's very specific and unique. I love the concept of again, getting back to our exclusivity of what we're sharing with our client engagement. There's so many incredible Compass exclusives. Very few people know the volume and the power of how many Compass exclusives we have in markets when they're searching in various areas. And so just a private, collection that you're like, hey, these are all the Compass exclusives that I can see and no one else can see that are off market. If you'd like to see them, either subscribe to this particular email or text thread that I provide as a private group, or here's the link and I'll send it to you directly. And it's a great incentive that the clients care about. That is a powerful thing that you can provide with Compass, and public collections is a great way to show those. The school video could also be a specific neighborhood video, posting to Facebook or Instagram. Exactly, Michelle. Now that this is exactly where we're starting to get like how this starts to come together. Because this idea can apply to lots of different options. It's not just in this case about homes around a particular school district that are great. It could be for a specific neighborhood for any reason, around a specific country club, around the best golf courses, around the best restaurants, a block away from the best street in town. Like, anything that you feel like is applicable to the client's thinking is exclusive and interesting beyond the standard information, something that shows your insight. Great questions about postcard mailer companies. No worries being behind everybody. Just, keep working. And again, like the key is try to do the work to get down to the summary of the kind of the thing that's going to move over to the marketing plan, because that will give your focus. You want to get to that focus box. You might not even need to fill out everything, I think, but I encourage you to, because what I've seen from, as we've talked through in the course so far, those who spend a little time really digging into their business a little bit more start to uncover the insights around where to be focusing. And that's the whole purpose of this. By getting our focus, makes it easier for us to do, and will actually allow us to have more zen when it comes to knowing our customer. So Robbie she created a Facebook page specific to the farm and have had 25% of the neighborhood join. Fantastic. Look at that. This is best ideas coming from all of you. Look at this. Promoted a neighborhood yard sale postcard piece, asked them to RSVP in the Facebook site, and then they listed the page along with the QR code. And yes, you cannot share private exclusive in the public collection. That's true. But you can create a offering which says that you will privately share them that, right? The idea is that it's about exclusivity. It's about giving an example of what a private exclusive is and offering that you have that no one else does. And if you'd like to see more listings like this that are off market, that are private, then you have to do something, right? You have to give me your email address, or you have to sign up for my private text that I send to my core private clients. Getting back to this exclusivity thing, which is why I ended on that in the kind of like what to do and what to send. So many of the decade I've worked with agents is this idea of creating newsletters and email things that are just like anyone can subscribe to. And the reality is the more exclusivity you create about what you can provide versus others and allow people to subscribe to those things is very powerful. That's like a private email that is subscribe only and opt-in only that you're offering to them, and you limit the number of people on. I think for your client influences and for your most important client base, that's a potentially incredibly powerful tool, which makes it easier for you then kind of to share and communicate to a smaller private group some things where you might not be able to promote them publicly. Michelle's asking, so would you use a loon to record a private exclusive example? And then it's perfect. Exactly. Let me show you how this works. Here's like, let me go into my dashboard, show you all the private exclusives I have. Can't publicize these, but like, let's talk and work together, and I can share with them more directly. All right. I did have one other set of questions here that I wanted to answer that came through, which was again around this idea of what we're talking about. And it got into this idea of someone asked, like, why do I ask this top client search? People are like, I don't get it. Like many of you just like, I didn't fill this out and said, I don't understand. So I wanted to explain a little bit of why I asked it. Because again, it's all putting the customer at the center and caring about what they care about, right? In this case, I thought this was a fantastic. Someone who lives in Austin said, like, well, people I work with are probably searching Austin Realtor, Austin Real Estate, quality schools, right? This is why I had this is why I had the school collection idea. And then if you think about something like YouTube, right? It's a search engine. So you start thinking about, like, how does what people search for matter to what content I make? Because if people are searching for the best Austin neighborhood to buy in, or they're even just on Google and clicking the best Austin neighborhoods to buy in the Google results, YouTube videos are going to come up. And some agents, like this gentleman, Jeremy Knight, have done a really good job of like basically making the captions and titles of his videos exactly align with what someone's searching for. And so, he's got 4,500 views on this particular video about a year ago. And the video is not that great. I watched it. It's fine. But there's great opportunity to, like, once you start realizing in the mind of your client, customer, what they care about, then you can create the content categories that attract them, that they're searching for. Same with shorts, right? It's the same idea. Like, the shorts and the meta tags and things you put inside of YouTube, just like Instagram, are searchable. And so in this case, it's like when you do that same search, it's like the cost of living, the worst houses to buy as investment properties, why people are fleeing Texas. And the same is true if you're in Westport, Connecticut. right? Like, what are people searching for? I love this, like, what can blank number buy you? I think it's a fantastic tool to use for titling your videos, titling, etc., because that's what people search for. Like, I have a budget. What can I get for $1 million in blank city, in blank town, in blank place? And so that's why I included it. That's why I asked it. And it helps us realize how marketing works and how we can like change the way that we think about content creation to focus on our client. And again, like with the areas of specialty, you know, it's in this case, this is something for next time. All right. Great. Well, we are coming right up to about the 90 minutes, jam-packed session again. Thank you all very much for the time today. Hope this was helpful. Really excited to kind of see how this continues to build, and we're going to complete the circle next week and dive more into referrals. You saw a little kind of sneak preview there. I'll be, of course, bringing some other great examples from the existing worksheets and things that you all are working on. I will have some more great ideas around how to leverage the Compass platform. And really, this is our moment to kind of, you know, think this week on how do we transition over to the marketing planning doc and start to like outline some of the activities we're going to do on a week-by-week basis. So here for questions, here to support. Thank you all for everything. And have a great rest of the week and weekend. And I will see you next week. And I will follow up with those Loom videos as we talked about in the chat.